Today, I want to take a minute to look back at my leather crafting journey. You know how sometimes you don't realize how much you've improved until you see your old work and think, wow, that was rough. Yeah, that's where I'm at. A year isn't a huge amount of time, but I figure if I document this now, I can keep comparing every year and hopefully cringe a little less each time. So let's go through some of my early projects and rate them from 1 to 5 stars. Starting with these luggage tags. The stitching looks like I did it in a moving car. The color on this one is giving human skin, which is not the vibe, and the cut lines, just a complete disregard for geometry. Now, this dark brown one isn't as bad. It at least still has the strap, meaning it could technically be used, but both are lacking in straight cuts. The stitching is a disaster, and honestly, they just look sad. I'll be giving these a generous 0.5 stars. On to the next one, and this one's funny because I'm pretty sure it's fake leather from Joann Fabrics. Back then, I was apparently terrified of rounding corners, so we've got these aggressive 90-degree angles. It technically holds a card, though I wouldn't trust it to actually stay in there. I guess it does. Oh, and on the back, I stamped Texas onto it, and it's really bad. And the edges, I never finished them, so because the cuts are relatively straight, this one gets a 1-star rating. On to the next, and this is the first chrome tanned leather that I've used. This was my first attempt at freehanding a wallet and adding a liner. The stitching spacing is all over the place. The liner is exposed for no good reason, and once again, no finished edges, just raw chaos. The only thing not terrible here are the cuts. They're not great, but they are actually kind of decent, but compared to everything else, they deserve maybe a participation trophy at best. So given that, I'll give this one a 2.5 stars. Moving on here, and this one, you can just tell that I gave up on this one halfway through. The top part is stitched shut, like I actively wanted it to be useless. The cuts are so misaligned that I must have just been like sleep deprived when I made this, and I swear I developed carpal tunnel just trying to stitch it together. The only redeeming quality was that the dye and the finish actually look kind of nice. Out of pity, I'll give this one a 1.5 stars. So these next projects are some of the first projects that I was using my laser, and let's just say the results were interesting. First up, this tiny wallet, which looks like something a raccoon would carry. I didn't understand how to size things on the laser yet, so I ended up with this mini disaster. I even started stitching it before I realized that it was completely pointless. Then we've got an early attempt at my old-fashioned wallet. I used thread that was a little too thin, so the stitch holes just stand out, and it's unfinished. Yeah, unfinished. And finally, it's the tiger stripe experiment. I thought it would be a cool idea for an orange wallet with laser engraved tiger stripes. I think it was a good concept, but I cranked the laser a little too high, so now it feels chalky and burnt. Leather dust just comes off on your hands when you touch it. Definitely not ideal. Yeah, at least on these, the cuts are all pretty straight, mostly because I didn't do them myself. Honestly, they're not that bad, so I'll give these a 3-star rating. All right, and this one takes it back to my first real design / concept was my Lone Star Par hat. I wanted a master style Texas logo with a solid leather patch and a braided accent cord, and this first version, it is kind of rough, but I just needed to physically put my vision into something. So this is the definition of handmade in the messiest way possible. But after a lot of trial and error, I actually figured out how to cut, dye, and finish leather properly. So now the final version actually looks pretty good. So here it is, and yeah, if you do want one of these, they are available on puredleather.com and on my TikTok shop for $25. Yeah, go support if you like one of these. And that about wraps it up for this video. If you've got one of your own first leather projects lying around, send them my way or make a video and tag me in it. I'd love to see them just to see where we all started. Maybe I'll share some of yours with your permission, of course. If you want more leatherworking content, definitely subscribe and check out my work at puredleather.com. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.